Hello Ofans, it's Sam here with OLIGHT Canada. Today is the big day. All of the new products for the Ofans Day event have been released on olightstore.ca, so click the link below to check those out. The biggest standout product release, in my opinion, on the Canadian schedule is the Baton 3 Pro, a much anticipated and very welcomed upgrade to the old S2R Baton 2. Let's talk about some of the big features that make this a huge upgrade from the predecessor and why you should add one to your collection. First off is the form factor. The S2R Baton 2 is widely regarded as one of the best sized EDC flashlight. It fits in your pocket, it fits in your hand, it's a very handy size to carry around. The Baton 3 Pro. It is slightly taller by a couple of millimeters, and it is just a gram or two heavier. But other than that, exactly the same form factor, just packed with some additional features. Let's talk about those now. The biggest one, in my estimation, is active thermal management and a proximity sensor. Both of those safety features that this old model does not have. Now, where this model relies on a timer to dim the output at a predictable level to avoid overheating, the active thermal management in the Baton 3 allows for the light to run at higher outputs for a longer period of time depending on the ambient temperature and the cooling that's going on. Now, where I live in the middle of the prairies, it's about to get very cold. So this is a feature that I can certainly appreciate, that additional runtime on higher brightness settings based on the temperature of the light itself rather than a timer. The next added feature is the proximity sensor. It's really nice to see this next generation light bringing that innovative OLIGHT feature into such a small form factor. Much like some of the other proximity sensors in the lineup, anytime the light gets too close to a surface, it will gently dim down to a mode that is slightly brighter than medium. It's not going to burn you, it's not going to burn your pocket, and it's not going to burn the table that you set it face down on. Now, the implementation is a little bit different than on the Warrior 3S. With the Warrior 3S, there's a lot more power there. If you drop it on the ground, it'll turn itself off after 1 minute. This won't do that, and I think that's just for practical purposes. Now, the question that's always asked about the proximity sensor is there any way to defeat the proximity sensor? Well, the good news is there is. If you're in proximity safe mode, all you got to do is double tap on the side switch, and then that unlocks your full range of modes as long as the light stays on. If you turn the light off, then proximity safe mode comes back on. Next up, let's talk brightness. Now, in terms of maximum output, the old one was rated at 1150 lumens, so not so bad, pretty good in fact. But this kicks it up a notch. The Baton 3 Pro is rated at 1500 lumens, and it is a noticeable increase when you look at them side by side. I noticed that the hotspot is virtually identical, but it's just ever so slightly brighter. You can see it a little bit further down the way, and I'll play you some video of that right now. Now, keep in mind, Turbo is not the only mode. You have high, medium, and low, as well as Moonlight. Very interesting discussion about Moonlight coming right up. But first I want to talk about high mode. High mode on the S2R Baton 2 is rated for 4 hours of runtime at 400 lumens. Now, 400 lumens is not too shabby, but the Baton 3 Pro, again, kicks it up a notch, 600 lumens for a rated runtime of 3 hours, plus a little bit of drop-down time at a slightly lower output. Now, I see this as a huge usability increase because when you're walking around day-to-day in high mode with 400 lumens, it's not too shabby, but 600 lumens, that's a really noticeable jump. It's a brighter flashlight in everyday use, and you give up about an hour's worth of runtime, but I don't think that's all that much for having a brighter flashlight in your pocket. Let's talk about Moonlight mode. A true Moonlight mode should be the least amount of light possible so that it doesn't interfere with your night vision. Now, the old one is rated at 0.5 lumens for 60 days of runtime, but the Baton 3 Pro, they'll do you one better. It's still rated at 0.5 lumens, but it's a lot dimmer. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably 0.1 lumens, and it's rated for 120 days of runtime. This is the one I'd absolutely prefer because in the middle of the night, if you've been sleeping, your eyes are completely adjusted to the dark. Moonlight mode on this is not bad, but it's a little bit bright. The incredibly dim, almost minuscule amount of light on Moonlight mode on the Baton 3, super practical. It's exactly what you want in an EDC flashlight. Huge upgrade to the Baton 3 Pro. Now that we've covered brightness and runtime, let's talk about charging. The old one charged at 1 amp using the standard MCC charger. The Baton 3 Pro includes and is compatible with the 2 amp MCC 3 fast charger. That's a huge usability upgrade. This thing would take 5 or 6 hours to charge at 1 amp max. The Baton 3 Pro is rated to fully charge at 3.5 hours from flat to full power in 3.5 hours. Again, a huge usability increase. If you have a long day at work, you're using your light every day, you want to top it off before you take your dog for a walk, this thing is absolutely the one you want to have compared to the previous edition. Since we're talking about the accessory charging cable, let's also mention that the Baton 3 Pro comes with the pouch that you come to expect from the Baton series of lights. And it also comes with this really neat L-shaped bracket, which you can use 3M adhesive to stick anywhere in your house. Maybe it's near your bedside table, maybe it's at your EDC station near your front door. It will really sturdy, really handy location for your Baton 3 included in the box. Now those are the big ticket headline upgrades to this light, but there's a few more things to talk about. If you're enjoying the video so far, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about configurability. Now, much like the Arcfeld and the i5T Plus before this, the Baton 3 Pro offers you 3 different body colors and 2 different emitter color temperatures to choose from. So you choose between OD green and black and desert tan, very popular OLIGHT colors, and you have your choice between cool white and neutral white. Here we have the OD green, neutral white, which is definitely my preferred orientation. You tell me what your preferred configuration is in the comments. Now let's talk about a few subtle yet important differences between the exterior finish of these lights, including the grip, the pocket clip, and the button. Now starting with the grip, you can see that the grip on the Baton 3 is a nice combination of the old school square knurling from the old Baton series and the new Baton 3 and Warrior Mini series. I really enjoy this grip. The combination of the 2 patterns actually works in its favor. It feels really great in the hand. Now let's talk about the pocket clip. The old one, I think this model was kind of let down by this pocket clip. It's on there a little bit loose, and it has the OLIGHT signature reversible clip, but there's a lot of light that would stick out of your pocket if you try to use it like this. Both of those issues have been solved on the Baton 3. This thing is on there very, very good. I could barely take it off even if I wanted to, which I certainly don't because it's absolutely on there very well. And the pocket clip has been extended downwards so that if you were to carry it in your pocket with the tip down, a lot less light is exposed out the top of your pocket, making this a very practical choice if you do carry your light this way. I should also mention that the lanyard hole has been moved from the bottom of the body to that extra secure pocket clip. I think it makes a lot of sense because if you dropped this light in the wrong place, you could cause some excess damage to the body where the lanyard hole is. Here you don't have to worry about that. The body of the light remains as strong as possible. And with this extra secure pocket clip, if you had your lanyard hanging there and the light was clipped to your pants, you wouldn't have to worry about the lanyard getting too snagged and pulling the pocket clip off. It's actually on there very securely. And let's talk about the button. This is one of my favorite upgrades to actually use and actually feel in the hand. So what do you think of the button? Because when you look at the old model, the button was protruding from the front of the surface. And it didn't really feel all that comforting. It was actually a little bit hard to find. Your thumb kind of just glossed right over it. But with the larger and flush mounted button on the Baton 3 Pro, your finger just falls right into place. It absolutely, you can sort of index your fingers around the pocket clip and your thumb falls right on the button every time. It's actually a lot easier to press as well. So the button, a huge usability upgrade between these two models. And something that you wouldn't necessarily notice unless you had them side by side is the speed at which they change their modes. The old one is a little bit more leisurely. It takes a little bit of time to go through the modes, but the new one cycles through the modes slightly faster, which I think is actually pretty nice. It allows you to pick the mode that you want a little bit more precisely, a little bit more rapidly, and that's just kind of nice to have. Now lastly, let's talk about the price point. Now you might expect with all of the feature upgrades that this might cost a lot more than the outgoing generation. But OLIGHT has worked their magic. They've kept this light under $100 retail, and it retails for $94.50 Canadian dollars. And that's pretty good price, but if you buy it during the September Ofans Day event, that price drops to $66.50 Canadian dollars. I think that's a great price point for something with this many upgrades, with this output at this size. $66.50 Canadian dollars. Great price point. Be sure to not miss out during the September flash sale. So if you enjoyed the video, please use the links down below to check out with your order during the September flash sale. It really does help support the channel. Also, your likes and your subscribes are always appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time for more OLIGHT Canada videos.